This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma. Updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're interested in your birth chart, check out the readings page at umaruby.com, and if you'd like to support the work, head over to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and you can buy me a coffee. Finally, if you're a visual learner, look up Uma Ruby Tarot on YouTube and you can watch and learn. Okay, let's take a look. Hello Virgo and Virgo rising. Welcome to your horoscope for the Taurus full moon eclipse happening on the 8th of November at 2 minutes past 10 p.m. if you're in the Southern Hemisphere with me. So this is the second of the series. So welcome. I hope that everything's all right. I hope that you're doing really well. I hope that there were breakthroughs for you, Virgo, in this last bit of time. Let's have a look at the house first up. So this is maybe the third eclipse in Taurus that we've had since this time last year. So think back to November the 9th and then of 2021, and think back to April the 30th of this year as well, and relate it to your 9th house, which is where we find spirituality. It's where we find philosophy. It's how we learn and absorb that information, and it's how we kind of deal with, faith, religion in some way. Religion, maybe not so, no dogma here. There's no rule book. But I guess in regard to the expansive learning and teaching that can be done around these topics, this is where Taurus is for you, your 9th. What I can see here is, I'm going to show you the tarot card for the point. So it's the full moon's happening at 16 degrees of Taurus. Tarot card for that is the 6 of Pentacles. And I think we've spoken about this card before, but it's definitely the card that reminds us to pay it forward when we have enough, and to not feel ashamed or guilty when we need a helping hand, and to be able to receive that with grace and with dignity, and for that to sort of galvanize our position as paying it forward when our reserves start to top up. So that's the 6 of Pentacles in a nutshell. For this to be in your 9th house is quite an interesting relationship. So I think definitely in your Virgo way, there is like a there's like a diligence and like sort of practical application to study. No matter what it is that you pick up, you'd like to get to the nuts and bolts of it and to figure it out and to really understand it. So in that 6 of Pentacles way, is sort of, there's some sort of like, maybe like a hierarchy that I'm sort of sensing in this reading for whatever reason. But I bring it up because that's to be kind of maybe busted with this eclipse. You might find yourself coming to some sort of understanding. The cogs might sort of shift into gear about a certain topic of faith or of even like mind expansion in terms of travel, about sort of moving around and absorbing and taking things in. Yeah, actually, this is what it could be. To have an eclipse here, that sort of like changes the path, doesn't it? Something comes blaringly obvious and you move forward in this way. So were you moving around a lot? Maybe like think about a year ago, like were you moving, shifting space? And then again, on the 30th of April, has there been like maybe like traditions or sort of certain pathways of faith or wisdom that you're kind of feeling are kind of like falling away from your understanding or from your belief. Maybe this is about a realignment with what it is that you personally believe in, as opposed to what it is that you were sort of maybe given or your experience so far. The thing about the opposite end of the scale is the third house, which is where we learn to communicate. The third house is about language and about our village, our local environment and local travel, local access. So the eclipse that happened 2 weeks ago was happening there. And so now it's happening in a much broader area of your life, a much sort of more expansive space. I'm going to show you the intuitive tarot, Virgo. I hope this is making sense. You know what? I'm just going to go because I always say that and it always seems to work. It's fine. I got you the Three of Wands. I got the Tower, and I got the King of Pentacles. So with what I've just said, there's almost like a break here. Like there's like a, what do they say? Like a watershed moment. There's like a deluge that I see for you, Virgo. And this could be to do with your spirituality. This could be to do with what you're putting out there. If you're publishing a lot at the moment, or if you're writing or producing content or anything to be absorbed, this is going to have this eclipse is going to have an effect on that. But as I said before, there's something that I'm kind of feeling about what it was that I thought I was true before, or a certain system of faith. This is the moment for that to fall away in order for me to reactivate and instigate a path towards what it is that I sense, that I believe now. There's almost like, I feel like with this eclipse in the village, it's kind of like there's traction here, Virgo. I'm going to show you these cards. So the Three of Wands is about kind of like a trepidation or like an anticipation before the journey. So this is why I'm using a lot of like movement imagery in this reading, but this is what this card represents. It represents kind of like almost like having written the treasure map and like charted it and planned it out, and then rolling it up under your arm and looking forth, waiting for the ship to come in order to make the journey. And bring it back. This could be spiritual, this could be philosophical. It doesn't have to be a physical journey. Then we've got the Tower. The Tower is full on. The Tower is an intervention from spirit land into an environment or a structure, a system that was not working and needed a proper going over. This is almost like an eclipse in a tarot card, really, so we can kind of maybe read it there. To follow it up with the King of Pentacles, this is stability and reliability in a card. This card represents to me a space where you can plant, because the land is fertile and it will grow around you. There's a real feeling of support here. The King of Pentacles, this could represent someone external to you. Like when the court cards come out, they can sometimes be talking about someone in our environment rather than ourselves. So there could be, I see this as making one plan, then having that completely interjected and completely interfered with, but then realizing that the new path, the new direction, the new idea has it leading you to this structure, to this fertile environment, a place where you can really grow, to build a home, plant a garden, all of that kind of stuff. So this is what I'm focusing on, this intervention from the gods away from a plan that you thought. And the three, so now I'm reminded of your third house, language, communication, village. How did it go at the Scorpio eclipse in regard to that part of your life? Did you have ideas? Did you come to any kind of like realization about your local, your neighborhood, and what you might like that to be, where you'd like that to be, as opposed to maybe where it is now, or as maybe in the environment, your neighborhood that you're in now, there were dramatic changes that sort of happened affecting that space. If that happened, then I want you to know that the path that you're on now, or the redirection that occurred, is going to have you come to this space of solidity, of support, and of reliability. You can trust this new path, this new venture, this new avenue, as being one that is that has a lot of potential for growth. Yeah, and maybe it's different to what you had anticipated. Yeah, on the back of the deck, Virgo, I got the Lover's card, which is Gemini energy. And it's also a choice. Whenever this card comes up, that's an overarching way of reading this card would be, there's a choice to happen here. There's there's a decision might need to be made at this juncture. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about Saturn now as well. So, the moon's at 16 degrees in Taurus. Uranus, in its retrograde motion, is also at 16 degrees in Taurus. So this lunation, this full moon, is like a full Uranus. Uranus is the rebellious, revolutionary power, the energy of changing things up. Hand in hand with your moon in your 9th house of philosophical, spiritual expansion, and also travel and journeying of the mind, and the limits of our knowledge. In opposition to that is the sun at 16 degrees of Scorpio. Both of these, the sun and the moon, are forming a square again with Saturn in Aquarius. This is not the first time that this has happened, and this is also not a direct square. It's a couple of degrees off. But I bring it up because Saturn, the planet of restriction, of boundaries, of regulation, is in your 6th house of daily rhythm, ritual, health, body, repetition. The 6th house is where Virgo is most comfortable. It's the house of sticking to task, of work, of chopping the wood, brushing your teeth, paying the bills, the daily ritual. So there's a boundary here with Saturn that is informing this lunation. It's sort of putting pressure on perhaps some of these fits and starts and bursts of inspiration and a new way of being that's affecting your village and your language, and is affecting your ability to expand and to learn and to grow in a faith-based way. So yeah, let's look at the dates again. I want you to think back. Think back to the 19th of November, 2021. What was life like? What was happening? What were the big changes in life a year ago that were showing up for you? Think to April the 30th of this year. And again, the changes, the redirection maybe that may have had to have happened for you. Because if you can find a pattern, if you can think, okay, there's that, oh, that's spooky. I don't tell you this to be frightened of what's to come. I tell you this to maybe give yourself a bit of a sense of empowerment that you're actually in line with the planetary movements at the moment, and they're quite hectic. Yeah. From my backwards perspective, of your chart, Virgo. I'm a Pisces rising, so I had the ninth house activation 2 weeks ago at Scorpio. For me, my subscriber list quadrupled, and I received a deluge of new bookings from new clients, lovely new people that I now know, that are now consuming what it is that I'm publishing in a faith-based way, in a spiritual way. They're absorbing what I'm producing in that space, how I'm expanding my awareness and my understanding and sharing it. That was where the eclipse played. That's how I read that eclipse. It was like it just blew up. So if you're doing the same, if you read tarot, or if you read birth charts, or if you're learning or thinking that you might like to, then maybe this eclipse might show up in a really gorgeous, helpful, supportive way for you. And maybe that choice will be, am I going to live in grounded ritual of daily rhythm and task-masked vibe, or am I going to take a punt? And this gateway that's open, this doorway that's just opened up for me, I'm just going to dive in. That could be something that happens for you as well. That's very specific. It might not be for everyone, but yeah, I just think from my opposite end of the spectrum, it's nice to give you a heads up. Yeah. Whatever happens, whatever chaos that may ensue, whatever, you've got to change it up again, know that you're on the way to a very healthy, happy environment where you can feel really grounded and work hard and build. Yeah. That's the reading, Virgo. Oh, holy hell. Much love to you. I'll be back with you in 2 weeks to talk about the new moon in Sagittarius, which will be great for us. This will be great for you. And yeah, I can't wait. Actually, the new moon in Sagittarius will be in your 4th house, which is your home, your roots, your stability, your privacy, your ancestry. And a new moon is a moment to make a wish, to manifest, to work with the planetary bodies and the energy on the planet and call it in. So actually this is, similar things, isn't it? Village, home. I'm seeing it all. I'm seeing it all before it happens. But book yourself a birth chart reading. Go to umaruby.com and pick a journey. You can have a fire, water, earth, air, or spirit reading. And if you're a return client, you can have one of the new ones, which is a witch reading. It's where I use tarot mostly in my psychic vibes. I'm being cheeky now. I've got more of these to record, so I should get off the phone. I love you, Virgo, very much, and I'll speak to you in 2 weeks for the new moon in Sagittarius. Bye.